Hello, lovely lights, and welcome along to lesson 152. I know we're in these longer lessons and often they can appear quite wordy, but realize that there are nuggets in them, and so stick with it. You may not get every single thing or understand every single thing, but that's okay. You'll glean enough from each lesson to be able to continue on to the next one. So let's take a moment just landing in our hearts, a holy moment of stillness and of quietness. Be present to your breaths. And then bow to your heart as we say, we begin this day in gratitude. We open our hearts and we surrender to love. We ask that love lead the way through the minutes and the hours of this new day. We welcome joy, fun, and abundant prosperity. We recognize that all encounters are wholesome and that all experiences can be met with a peaceful heart that is anchored in the truth that we are one, that we are love, and that we are free. And so we release these words and we let it be. So lesson 152, the power of decision is my own. No one can suffer loss unless it is their own decision. No one suffers pain except their choice elects this state for them. No one can grieve, nor fear, nor think themselves sick unless these are outcomes that they want. And no one dies without their own consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, and nothing is omitted that you choose. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here is the whole reality for you. And it is only here salvation is. So this is a real reminder that our thoughts create our reality. It's a reminder of cause and effect, and that that form follows consciousness, and whatever you appreciate appreciates. So whatever you're putting your attention on grows and you get more of it. And it's also a reminder that we give everything all the meaning that it has. So, nothing is good or bad except our thinking makes it so, as Hamlet famously said. So it's a real reminder that you're constantly creating your reality, and to begin to notice your thoughts and where they are. And, Louise Hay built a whole industry on this, on, us affirming positive states and then being in the creation of those positive states. So you may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. Yet can truth have exceptions? You have the gift of everything. Can loss be real? Can pain be part of peace, or grief of joy? Can fear and sickness enter in a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Truth must be all-inclusive, and if it is the truth at all, accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. So the truth, once more, is that you are free, that you are love. We say this in our prayer every morning, and that everything is available to you when you recognize that you are love itself. Salvation is the recognition that truth is true and nothing else is true. So salvation, freedom, wholeness is when we recognize this. This you've heard before, but may not yet accept both parts of it. Without the first, the second has no meaning. And without the second, the first is no longer true. Truth cannot have an opposition, because truth is just truth. This cannot be too often said and thought about. For if what is not true is true as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is false. This is the simplest of distinctions, yet the most obscure. But not because it is a difficult distinction to perceive. It is concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own. And thus the truth appears to have some aspects that negate consistency, but do not seem to be contradictions introduced by you. So as God created you, you must remain unchangeable, with transitory states by definition false. So if we're anchored in the truth that we are love, and any other transitory state, so emotions can be seen as transitory states. So when you're feeling pulled this way or that, when you're feeling in sadness, when you're feeling anger, they're all energy in motion and they're transitionary states. So they don't remain. But what always remains is the truth that you are love. So that includes all shifts in feeling, alterations in conditions of the body and the mind, and in all awareness and in all response. So again, when you're ill, you're usually temporarily ill, and then you return to a state of seeming wellness. But beneath all that, your spirit is always well, is always free, is always bright. So this is the all-inclusive, which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from truth as what it is. Is it not strange to learn you made the world you see? Is it not strange to learn you made the world you see in arrogance? God did not make it, or of this you can be sure. What can God know of the ephemeral, the sinful, the guilty, the afraid, the suffering, the lonely, and the mind that lives within a body that must die? You but accuse God of insanity, to think God made a world where such things seem to have reality. God is not mad, yet only madness makes a world like this. So everything that is true was created by love, and everything that is false was created by man. So to think, or man or woman, to think that God made chaos contradicts God's own will, invented opposites to truth, and suffers death to triumph over life. All this is arrogance. Humility would see at once that these things are not of love. And can you see what source did not create? To think you can is merely to believe you can perceive what love did not will you to be. And what could be more arrogant than this? So to run off with all your own ideas that are separate from love is seen as being an arrogance. Humility is bowing down to the love that you are. Let us today be truly humble and accept what we have made as what it is. The power of decision is our own. Decide only to accept your rightful place as co-creator of the universe, and all you think you made will disappear. So all that is false, all that we have believed in that is false, which doesn't actually exist but appears real, will disappear. What rises to awareness then will be all that there ever was in truth, eternally as it is now. And it will take the place of self-deceptions made to usurp the altar to the Creator and the child of God. Today we practice true humility, abandoning the false pretense by which the ego seeks to prove it arrogant. Only the ego can be arrogant, but truth is humble in acknowledging its mightiness, its changelessness, and its eternal wholeness, all-encompassing God's perfect gift to God's beloved child. We lay aside arrogance, which says that we are sinners, guilty, afraid, ashamed of what we are, and we lift our hearts in true humility instead to love, who has created us immaculate, like to God's self, in power and in love. The power of decision is our own, and we accept of God that which we are and humbly recognize it. So we decide for this today. This is our decision, that we are going to see who we truly be. To recognize God's child implies as well that all self-concepts have been laid aside and recognized as false. So we're laying aside all the shadows, all the veils, all the illusions, all that has obscured our view of the love that we be. Their arrogance has been perceived, and in humility, the radiance of God's child, its gentleness, its perfect sinlessness, its Creator's love, its right to heaven and release from hell, are joyously accepted as our own. Now do we join in glad acknowledgement that lies are false and only truth is true. We only think of truth as we arise and spend 5 minutes practicing its ways, encouraging our frightened minds with this. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my sources will created me to be. Then we will wait in silence, giving up all self-deceptions as we humbly ask ourself that it reveal itself to us. And ourself who never left will come again to our awareness, grateful to restore its home to God as it was meant to be. So we're going to take this into a meditation and we'll come back then to the very last section. So I invite you to gently close your eyes down once more and to be present to these words. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my sources will created me to be. So put simply, I will on this day accept my true self. And now remaining with your eyes closed as we listen to the last part of this lesson. In patience, wait for the Holy Spirit throughout the day and hourly invite it with the words with which the day began, concluding it with the same invitation to yourself. God's voice will answer, for it speaks for you and for your Creator. It will substitute the peace of God for all your frantic thoughts, the truth of God for self-deceptions, and God's child for your illusions of yourself. And I invite you, if you wish, to remain in meditation as this lesson ends out.